What is up? What is up? What is going on, everybody? Hey, it's been a while. Yes, this is Jedi Master Depaul back at the Conspiracy Cantina. Sorry, guys, for the hiatus. Yes, but we are back. Today is going to be a special episode. We're actually honored to actually host some special guests and about a amazing, important topic that we have to go talk about in a galaxy far, far away. So if you're not familiar with us, thanks for joining us for this amazing episode. So today what we're talking about is a couple of things. We have the group of Black Galaxy Chat, and I'm not going to go too much into it myself, but I'm going to introduce some amazing guests, some amazing people to talk about this topic and what this is. So before I even go into what the topic is, I'm going to bring them up right here because I don't want to keep them in the sunken place anymore. So here we go. Boom. Some familiar faces. If you're on TikTok or Twitter, you will know these people. What's going on, guys?
It popped up like the Brady Bunch.
Right? Oh, man, it feels good to be back on the podcast. So first of all, we want to go around the horn. If you guys are familiar, you might know some of these people here. Some people have been promoting this episode, this event right here, and we're gonna go around the horn and do some introductions. And so first, I'm gonna start with Kiki. We want to introduce you and that you introduce yourself. You are the person who actually decided to start to do this event. So please introduce yourself, let people know where they can find you, and go from there.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Kiki. I am in the Pacific Northwest. It's kind of like what I talk about is Star Wars pop culture in the Pacific Northwest. This kind of came about because I was really interested in hearing some Black voices talk about Star Wars, and specifically Reva, because I've been hearing a lot of chatter online, and none of them have been led by Black people or Black women. And I was like, maybe we should hear some input from the melanated folks about Reva. So that's kind of what popped all of this up. And we have a great panel tonight, and I'm really excited for everybody being on here. Should I popcorn it over to someone else?
Yes, we'll just go if you see. I'm not sure what direction it is, but Kiki, you're there. Bennett, go ahead.
All right, I've been chosen. Hi, I'm Bennett, or B if you can't get through the two syllables. At Bean Bees on everywhere on the internet. That's important. Except for the Black Web, I go by a different name there. I talk about Star Wars, anime, whatever just on my brain. Cry about Ben Solo a lot. That's basically my internet presence. I cosplay and do things like that. So I'm glad to be here. Popcorning it. Will.
Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So, hey, I'm Will the Greatest. I also am you can call me a content creator. I'm probably the only one here that doesn't have TikTok. I am on Quirk Chat, but like all my on my socials, on my YouTube and my Instagram, I do also use Will the Greatest. We on my own podcast, we talk about all sorts of nerdy stuff, movie content, just same thing as just about everybody else. You know, at some point we're probably gonna do a Obi-Wan review, but it's just like, I'm a big Marvel.
I think we lost the volume. Or you froze.
I think he just froze.
Yeah, he just froze. Maybe he'll kick back in. I'll give him a second or so. And guys, this is technology. We have this, especially with podcasts, so no problem. We're used to this. There we go.
Oh, there you go. So there are.
Oh, that was weird. No, I was basically doing my piece. Yeah, content creator, do my own podcast, cosplay, all that jazz. So moniker should be the name, YouTube and Instagram.
Sweet, awesome, thank you. So, Will, if you want to pass to the next person, go ahead.
I'm gonna pass it over to Janice.
Hello, all. My name is Janice. I'm on TikTok as Janice Ace 312. I post things that are on my mind, and sometimes that involves the nerdy things in life. And I think the question that I was given before we got in was my favorite Star Wars movie or show, and I think that's still pretty consistently the Clone Wars animated series. It just does such a great job of making the prequels less sucky. So, yeah, and of course you can find that on Disney Plus or in my room on my DVD player. That's
Awesome.
that. Popcorning it to the Jedi always.
Hi, I'm the Jedi Always. My first name is Terrace. You can find me on TikTok under the Jedi Always, as well as Instagram and Twitter. My favorite Star Wars movie would be Return of the Jedi, and favorite series is Star Wars Visions, I think. And I typically talk lightsaber duels and martial arts on my page, as well as clap back from time to time. And I'm gonna popcorn it to Legend of Zorah.
Yep. Hey, I'm Legend of Zorah. I'm on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. I do a lot of mainly sci-fi, fantasy, animation talks, and I also do just like fun makeup looks. So I kind of combine the two in a lot of my stuff. Favorite Star Wars movie is Rogue One, and I think my favorite TV show was Clone Wars up until The Mandalorian came out. So probably Mandalorian and Rogue One is my favorite stuff. But all around, I just like geeky stuff. I like makeup. I like the both of them. So I'm ready to talk about this. Also,
Nice.
I'm getting over COVID. So if I have like a little rasp in my voice, that's why.
It's all good.
Glad you bounced back. That's good. And no worries. We're here for good times, good discussion, and to tackle a topic. And you guys know me. I am. Everybody went. Yeah, everybody went. So you guys know me. I'm Jedi Master Depaul. You can find me on TikTok for Star Wars content. Also here at the Conspiracy Cantina. That's bi-weekly. And favorite Star Wars movie would be. It's a mixture between Empire and The Last Jedi. But those two ties. So you go back and forth depending on the mood I'm in. Show wise, oh my god! After the Obi-Wan show, I'm torn because my favorite show is Rebels, but I'm like, crap. Obi-Wan is amazing, so that slaps. So I have to.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna fall in the category because it's a limited special or something like that or not. But I'm like, woof.
Well, it still counts.
So
I mean, I said Visions, so
yeah, Visions is my favorite too. So I'm with you on that one.
okay,
I didn't get a chance to say, but yeah, Visions is my favorite show.
Yeah, Vision stopped too. Yeah, can't wait to season 2.
Right?
yeah.
So like I said, I'm going to pass this on because this is an amazing topic. And Kiki, you are the
MC
spearhead expert. I would say the person who is spearheading this topic and brought this up and created this. So, like I said, honored to be able to be a part of this, and it's all yours.
All right. So the question is pretty simple, which is Reva an angry Black woman? And this comes from just having seen so many people on Twitter with the bad hot takes that they think they understand what that trope is, and not even doing an ounce of research before they start talking about it, and then saying, well, this is bad representation for Black women and Black people. And I'm like, hey, sir, you do not have any melanin. Why are you thinking that you are the spokesperson on this topic? I wonder?
That's always the case too.
Right?
Yeah.
So
From the
I was
poll.
like, let's just open it up to the floor. First of all, what did you think of the character of Reva? And was she an angry Black woman?
Okay, 1 second. Before we jump into that, I just want to say thank you to the chat and people who are watching. So we do appreciate you being here. 26 people watching, so this is going to be an amazing topic. Usually I'll pull up the chats, but I'm not going to go through all that time right now, and I don't want to disrespect anybody like that. So thank you for the chat, and it's yours again. I know Legend Cora, you about to jump in there. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hold on. One of my lights just went out. There you go. Okay. I really liked Reva. I think, for one, when we talk about representation, I feel like if you're going to talk about a villain, representation for a villain is going to look different from representation from a hero. I feel like that's fairly obvious. Like most Sith, especially like an Inquisitor who was a former Jedi who kind of ended up where they are because the Jedi failed them and then they kind of had to turn to the Sith, even though the Sith tortured them, they're going to be angry. I think anger is a very natural emotion, especially, and it's a very extremely common motivator for villains. Like I would say most of our major villains thus far are motivated by anger. So that's like just it first out of the way. I don't think you can judge Rebel on good representation if you're coming at it from like, oh, she's evil and she did bad things. I'm like, well, I mean, she's a Sith. So that's one thing. Two things, I don't think she's an angry Black woman stereotype because like I said, it's not like they put her in a position to be angry all the time and over the top for no reason. Like I think that's the thing about the angry Black woman stereotype is it's like it's usually unfounded, it's usually exaggerated, it's usually constant. But it's like we've seen her be angry, but it confused me when a lot of people are talking like, oh, she's angry, oh, she's rational. She is, but she was also very efficient. Like they said they've been looking for Obi-Wan for over 10 years, but it was her making like 2 steps that got them to find him. Like she was very efficient, she's very calculating, you know. If anything, the racist part is pushing her character down to only anger, and we were shown plenty of other aspects to her character than just the anger. For me, the suspicious thing is like non-Black folks who look at that and they're like, oh, see, she's angry. It's the racist thing. And it's like, is it? You know.
Can we like though pause and acknowledge in hilarity that what took Anakin or Darth Vader almost 10 years, a Black woman did in like 5 minutes. It was like, it was literally like, being like, I can't get the PDF to work, and the millennial being like, it's done.
Even in a galaxy far away, we're still doing all the work. Even in a galaxy far away, we're still doing all the work.
He said, "Get my Black Queen on it."
I mean, you got to give Vader credit. He kind of just let her work. He didn't get in the way. He just like, you know what? Do your thing. You'll find him. We're good.
Yeah,
it's like it's been 10 years. If she find him, this is whatever. But it's like, okay, all right. Well, let's send some Inquisitors. Like he might pop up. Let's move him. And then he pops up. He's like, okay.
Like, well, crap.
Hey,
you know Darth Vader was mad. He was like, God damn it.
He's like, all right, okay.
He was probably thinking, I'm not even mad though.
Everyone's like, give up. She said no.
And then the fact that they were like, we have to leave the planet, and he was right there. He was literally there.
Yeah.
He put a hoodie up and said they'll never catch me. And he hasn't shaved in 10 years. He looks exactly the same. No one noticed.
Really does.
He looks the same since the Clone War era. He just got raggedy hair and he just threw up a hoodie. He said they'll never find me here. Never see me on the Sand Planet.
It's the equivalent of the Marvel baseball cap and sunglasses.
Yeah.
Just he put on a Yankee fitted.
Yeah, exactly. Jedi hood. Absolutely.
Thematically too, she fits in with Star Wars. Like I made a video about this, like how a big part of Star Wars, especially y'all said y'all like Clone Wars, is showing a lot of the failures of the Jedi and being like, look, the Sith may be way worse, but the Jedi have contributed to a lot of problems in the galaxy. So like. And then, like, people said she mirrored Anakin, who was also a symbol of the failures of the Jedi. So it's like the Jedi failed so much that, like, one of their own felt the need to turn to the freaking Sith in order to get stuff done, you know? Like, like I don't know. I just think, again, like, her character, her thing wound into it. And, like, I mean, people say we bring race into everything, but I can't help but feel like had this been a white man, like had this been like a white man who wanted revenge on Anakin and he's fighting his way up through the ranks and he's working close with Vader, waiting for the right time, people will be talking about how interesting that is, how like I don't know, it's just like
it happens every time.
It happened. So
didn't Kylo Ren do a little bit of that with Snoke? Literally, like rose his way up the ranks, turned on him to usurp a position of power. It's like, it's not a 1-to-1, but it is a little, similar.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, this person that raised me that I've been pissed off at the whole time.
Yeah, I feel like Reba though was like intentional. Like she came in with a plan. I don't know when she initiated this plan, but obviously she had it from the very start. Where Ben was just like, "There's a pretty girl. I'm gonna now stab my master." Like that. Like it was not intentional at all.
I know we're talking
and
about
Or
like,
just
what
ruins
is
his
it?
life
It's
thing.
there
pretty.
was purpose behind
Yeah, she
all of the
is.
rage. Yeah, there was intention behind Reva's rage. You know, it was like she put it to like a sharp point, and she was efficient and useful. And I think that is like where it comes from. Like, I don't think it really falls underneath the angry black woman trope. And I think the angry black woman trope comes from a place of people inherently don't think that feminine black rage is justified, right? Because, like, you know, that goes to be black in America is to be constantly angry, right? And things like that. Like,
Yeah.
if you're like, when people are like, oh, you're just like an angry black woman, well, why wouldn't I be? Like, so that's just like the natural state of being. So I feel like the angry black woman trope arose from people looking at like, why black people, why are you angry all the time? I have eyes.
History.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see everything, right? So like, I think Reva especially is justified in all of her anger and her rage, and I think she utilizes it very well until it kind of like fails her.
I think she's also incredibly hurt. Like that moment for me when she says, "We thought Anakin came to protect us." Like, whoa,
They
my heart.
did. That was
Yeah.
a sad part.
And
Yeah.
it was a moment where
He stabbed her.
Yes.
and then at the end of the episode, he stabbed her straight.
Stabbed her again.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Try
But-
again.
Yeah, like of course he's mad. It's totally justified. It's like you all said already. It's about nuance, and she had a lot of it. So I don't think she falls into that angry black woman trope.
Right.
I definitely feel people don't want to give Reva her due nuance like a lot of the time, because given her motive, out of all the Inquisitors I've seen, she's the only one I actually really like, because the rest of them were just fine with being on the dark side. Like Trilla from I haven't played Fallen Order, but I know the story. Trilla, she has good motive for the most part. Her master betrayed her. She went to the other side, sure, but you're comfortable just doing the terrible things that you were raised not to do. Reva, on the other hand, is doing these terrible things, sure, but it's for one goal, to go after Vader. Sure, we don't know what she was going to do after that, but taking out the man who took your entire life from you, I guess that's a respectable goal. Like, how many heroes' journeys start off that way?
Right.
Yeah. And I think on y'all's point too, like the end when she's like gonna kill Luke and she sees like Owen defending that kid with his life, she's like, bro, this isn't even your son. Like, and I think it was just, and she couldn't do it. She could not bring herself to do it because and like even when she goes, have I become him? Like it was like a very that breakdown was perfect. Like of her being like, okay, I'm getting revenge at what cost? I'm supposed to be doing it for these kids, but now I'm gonna do to this kid what he did to me that started me on this path. And again, the fact that she was so flabbergasted that Owen was like, I guess I'm gonna die protecting this kid, and she was like, damn. like you can see. Like Moses Ingram's acting in this is so good. Like the writing for the character is excellent, but she definitely just like
She ate.
I enjoyed it. That's where I've seen a bit of more of the more interesting criticism, because like they're the racist fans and everything, is like I've seen criticism more so of them trying to figure out like, okay, is it the acting or is it the performance? I enjoyed it from up top, so like going off the prompt of like, is she angry black woman? I was like, I don't believe so. It's like I like seeing somebody that's dark-sided basically weaponize their emotions. I feel that's kind of the point. Is there's like these Jedi are these stoic monk. It's that whole logic versus emotion kind of fallacy, when like the true thing you need is balance. So, like you got these Jedi, these stoic monks, they're like, we don't want to get involved, we're gonna do the logical thing and stay away. And then you have these dark side dudes that are like too into their emotions and they let it control all the decisions. And so like when Anakin was raging out at Revenge of the Sith, like, yeah, that's dope. Like he's swinging because he's upset. He thinks his best friend helped him, kill his wife. He's feeling manipulated. He's feeling, powerless against like all of his peers because they don't want to do nothing. And so like looking at Reva, it's like you have the other Inquisitors were so like solemn and reserved, and they're just like, Reva, you need to stay in place and listen to Lord Vader. She's like, no, I'm gonna get to swinging. I'm chopping off fingertips and hands. Like
that scene, that's
because she was doing that.
Yes, like the only
she was efficient. Like
She was
I
so
hate this.
efficient. Like, how is it that she showed what they were looking for, and they still were like, shame on you.
Because they were haters.
Yeah.
They
Oh
were
yeah,
haters.
absolutely.
They're just haters.
Absolutely haters.
You
So,
know,
like,
I
what
actually
I
want-
realized-
What's up?
what I realized as I was watching this show and then watching reactions from non-melanated people, non-black people specifically, I'll just be very clear, non-black people watching this, was I was like, y'all cannot read black people.
Mhm.
Because like there were scenes where they were like, oh, that she's just angry. I'm like, for example, when she was interviewing Leia, I was like, that wasn't full-blown anger. That was somebody who was focused.
Frustrated.
Yeah,
She
Yeah.
was frustrated.
Oh, yeah,
She
we-
was dealing with a mouthy ass little kid
Mhm.
that wasn't cooperating. And I'm like, have y'all never dealt with like a mouthy 10-year-old before?
I
She wasn't
Look at the kid, you're just like,
a
No,
little
I-
kid that talks back to her and is like, I'm gonna tell my daddy. Like, of course, I was like, this little kid about to have you acted up in here. I'm gonna lose it on this child.
you're just
Yeah,
like,
I was-
ooh, I
That's a
wish I
normal
was your
reaction
mama.
to a
And
mouthy
based on that
kid.
too,
like,
and based on her reaction on Luke, I don't think she wanted to hurt Leia. I think that's why she was frustrated too.
No.
'Cause she's like, I'm
No.
about to be put in the position where I have to torture a kid, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Hey,
she was
when she
like,
went-
she's like, I don't want to do this multiple times to Leia. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to do this. We could do.
Right.
She was really trying to give Leia a way out, but
yes, no.
Leia is
Yeah.
Leia.
Yeah.
So
Leia's Leia.
I was teaching sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was
No, go ahead.
like a couple years back. I was teaching Taekwondo, and I've had moments like teaching children. I've had moments like that where it's like I can't with you just right now.
I'm a teacher too. Yeah, I know the feeling. It's a
Yeah, no.
I work with teens, so
so you know.
I think teens are better than 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
you're right. That's why I don't work with them no more.
But no, like she in that moment, she could have hit Leia. She didn't. She just, you know what? I'm just gonna put you in the chair and
Mhm.
deal with you that
I'm
way.
gonna let the technology do
Yeah.
But, like, she could have done way worse. And I wonder, like, you know, with that scene, I was like, y'all remember how like Darth Vader got that little flying robot and he brought it in and he like tortured Leia?
Yeah.
Like Darth Vader
Yeah.
was like, okay, let's go all in when she was grown. But like
Didn't
the
even
worst
notice
that
it.
Reva really did was really reach into her mind and wasn't visibly hurting her, just searching through her mind. She's like,
On that,
what are you gonna do? Like it was this mouthy 10-year-old that was back talking to her, you know.
The smallest
we've
10-year-old ever.
seen- We've seen, like, even in Clone Wars, where they would have, like, those interrogation scenes, and, like, Anakin would start to go over the top. They'd be like, Anakin,
With
chill
Bane.
out. Like, they,
Yeah.
like, yeah, like, you can have a strong will, but there are ways for a Sith to, like, push through that strong will and, like, turn your brain to oatmeal. Like, she fully
Yeah.
could have did that.
Like when there's in one of the comics, like I think it's the Vader series from 2015, he has an encounter with Jabba, and Jabba thinks he's gonna just use a mind trick, and he's like, I'm not a Jedi. It just starts to choke him straight out.
Yeah, I mean, think about when Vader first touched down in that town in Episode 3. He was literally dragging people.
Snapping. He was
Somebody got
snapping
yanked
necks
out
and
of house.
cashing checks.
I felt so bad for everybody in that town because nobody was safe. People were getting dragged out their house.
Yes.
Like, nobody was safe.
Yeah.
I was like,
It was just
Anakin,
straight,
you need
you
a
know,
Snickers bar.
Like, literally, I was like,
Boots
it's
hit the
Disney.
ground and people was getting
I was like,
dragged.
it's Disney. They're not gonna do too much. And he kills a child like the minute he shows up.
Yes.
Somebody's name.
Yeah.
He really
That's
did.
what
Just,
Anakin has always been
Like a damn Kit Kat.
Yeah.
it was like out of left field though, because like we've
like,
never
"Damn,
really
bro,
seen
chill."
Vader. We've rarely seen Vader hurt children like that, and he just snapped that kid's neck like it
Hey,
was
he had to go back
nothing.
to his roots.
And just wow,
I
this
mean,
shows.
It goes back
But-
to
but
how
you're right,
Vader
though, back to
was
his roots.
ultimately like created because he did kill a whole
That's
bunch
what I
of young
said.
ones.
We're back to his roots.
Yeah, back
Master
to
Skywalker, the Empire, they're coming. I'm the Empire
That-
kid, sorry.
I feel like everyone laughs at that scene because it's so awkwardly acted. But like, if you really like, and I think that's
A lot
why
of
the
people.
show did really well when Reva's like, "Oh, I thought he came to rescue us," because they're like, "Oh, yay, it's Anakin!" You know, like they're excited.
Oh, thank God, Master Skywalker's here.
Exactly.
Oh
Right.
no, Master Skywalker's here.
Yeah.
And the fact that they actually called him Master Skywalker is so sad because even the rest of the Jedi Council weren't calling him Master. Like they were like, oh, Master Skywalker.
Do you think
It's so
in his
tragic.
spirit
These little
he
kids are like,
hesitated a
obviously
little?
Anakin's here to save us. Anakin's like, no, I'm not, kid. I'm the
No,
problem.
I think, yeah, that's, I don't know. And I think, too, like, what I think we were getting at, too, is I think it would also be dehumanizing to not make Black characters angry at all because anger is a natural emotion. Because, like we said, like, it's the nuance and it's the fact that, like, it needs to tie into something and it needs to be treated as if it's justified. Because, like we were saying, that is something that you would rationally be angry about. If you and your friends are hiding and then the person who's supposed to rescue you comes and kills all your friends and the person who was supposed to be responsible for him is nowhere to be found, and now you're being tortured and you're like having to rise up through the ranks and you're doing all the work and nobody's giving you credit for doing all the work. Now you're in this weird relationship with your boss where you want to impress him because you have issues, but you also want to kill him. Like that is some complicated
It's a lot of stuff.
That would obviously induce some kind of anger. Like I feel like we've all seen movies or TV shows where like the writers are so scared to be racist that the Black characters have no personality at all. You know?
Things in the opposite.
I was gonna say it's like damn, not trying to drag Finn.
Oh,
my boy dirty.
And actually,
I know,
the
he
fact
had
that you
a
said that,
personality.
I actually
like
I believe that's what was opposite this time. It was like, fuck it, nah, we about to use this the right way and do this the right way, because that's why the whole fact that they had a minority directing it is like, no, we're doing this the right way. A female minority directing it at that is like, okay, so yes, well, she's a Black female. We're fucking around with aliens. Who cares?
Right. A lot of people.
The droids get more racism than she does.
I'm like, damn. So with that alone, it's like, okay, great. And honestly, I didn't even see any kind of type of angry Black woman until I got on fucking social media. And I was like, I was like, she's a Sith. I mean, when I Sith, she's not a Sith. She's a dark side.
Yeah, she's dark sided.
So I'm like, that's what she's supposed to do.
When I was watching it,
he's evil.
Go ahead. No, the floor is yours.
Like, you know, for me, as I was watching this show, I was just like, a lot of you are really telling on yourselves that you translate a Black woman not smiling and talking like this as anger. And I see it all the time on TikTok, whenever I'm on TikTok, and I talk like this because you need to pay attention. And people are like, why are you angry and mad at us? And I'm like,
oh man, the tone policing.
Oh man.
Now I'm fucking mad. Y'all want motherfuckers to see me mad? And they're like, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. That wasn't mad. That was focus.
Can we acknowledge what Darth Elsa, the username went by too fast? I didn't even think about that. What Darth Elsa said in the chat, I didn't even think about that.
So since Vader knew who she was the whole time, that means he put that youngling in the tomb just to mess with her. Damn, emotional damage right there for sure. She had to see him every time she went to work. God damn, no, that's deep.
It's like, damn, that was Jimmy.
People agree that like Vader is a really toxic boss. Like, hashtag
the man that drags his employees.
Hashtag the devil wears Parada.
Like, literally,
we gotta cancel Vader.
I understand why the Sith Inquisitors are always so on edge. Because when Vader gets upset with you, you don't get fired demoted. He just kills you. You come in and you're like, you got
when he barged in, like episode.
It was like 3 or 4.
Was it 4? Where he like just stormed in and was choking her off.
Episode
like
4.
As soon as the doors open.
That's 4.
The one the episode that. Before the episode that pissed off the fanboys off.
She was like, wait, the plan's still going. He was like, oh, my fault.
Right?
Like, so you saw it there? All right, fine. I put that on you. Well, hey. It's like you were saying, he does let her work. He does let her work. So in that way,
it works for him.
But maybe
he was really like, oh, my fault, OG.
I do want to make the connection just for the people in the audience too. Like, just a show of hands from the panel. How many of you have been in a situation where people translated you as being angry when you were not angry? I mean, like that's the Black
I've
experience.
been really
Because
lucky.
Right. Will's like, I haven't had that experience yet.
I'm not. Yeah, it's like I'm not saying it doesn't happen just because it ain't
I
happen to
can't
me.
walk
Clearly, it happens.
The
I can't
worst
walk around a
part-
store.
The worst part about that is then you actually get mad because you weren't mad before, but people keep accusing. Now I'm actually
Now I'm
upset.
pissed.
I am calm.
It's like, see, you raising your tone like an angry person
Yeah.
should.
Exactly.
And it made me kind of like, well, not chuckle, but like a lot of the things was like white men being like, she angry. It's like she's an angry Black woman, and I'm like, how many of you have accused a person of color in your life of being angry or aggressive based off of the fact that you look at Reva and can only translate anger? And why are you unable to make that connection right now when Black people are like, she's not really angry, and you're sitting here arguing that she's angry? And I'm like, would not that make a moment of pause for you and be like, have you been doing everything right in life?
That's what I'm saying. It's like
For
he
me,
has
it's like, well, if she is
anger
angry,
as
can you
part of
ask
her.
why?
Sorry, go ahead, Janice.
I was saying that if you do find her to be angry, maybe ask why is she angry? Because yes, she was angry, but she had a damn good reason to be angry.
Yes.
And like that's the thing for me. And sorry, I totally spoke on someone else.
No, you're fine.
No.
I think it's like there's like a slight lag, and I think that's what it was. It's like,
Okay.
But honestly, I was just gonna say the same thing that you were saying. Like, again, like we keep saying, it's not just like character angry equal angry Black woman, because all you're doing is just reinforcing the stereotype of like a Black woman being angry means that she's just an angry Black woman. And it's like I feel like this is an issue with like a lot of white allies, is instead of hearing a person of color or a Black person talk about why something is an issue and then doing research to figure out why it's an issue, they just like internalize the service part, like, okay, I'm gonna use that so no one gets mad at me, but they don't actually examine anything. So they see a character who's like an angry Black woman trope, they hear Black people complaining about it, and they don't look into it. They're like, okay, now I know my buzzword to get Black people on my side so I can be like ally of the month. And then they turn out to be wrong and they start arguing, and it's like, okay, did you actually look into this? Or did you just turn it into a buzzword? Because if you looked into this, you would see how A and B is not the same.
And following up on your point, if there is any trope that she aligns closer to, I would say she aligns a lot closer with the trope of like a resilient Black woman. So like the Black woman that's supposed to overcome.
Yes.
It's like dog, she got stabbed twice. She like all her friends got murdered. She had to basically work under her abuser for damn near serial killer for like over 10 years. Like shit was sweet.
No, not a serial killer, mass murderer. To be
No, there you go.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
You're right. Because he wasn't going around. He just did it all at once while I was in the room. It's like, so working under a mass murderer, like, I mean, it is a hostile work environment where you can just get yoked up before the door is even fully open in the middle of your work day, just because he's like, wow, you let him go. Guess you just gotta die today. It's like, wait a minute, hear me out, dog. I put a track on the ship. It's like, oh, okay. And then just
on Twitter. Sorry, go ahead.
Like that one scene in the sequels always makes me laugh when Kylo Ren is like having his little temper tantrum, and the troopers are walking down the hallway and they stop, and they're like, maybe we'll come back later.
Yeah, it's just like not right now.
That's what the moment when you're like, I haven't had my cup of coffee. I'm not going to deal with this shit.
No, it's too early for that. It's 7 a.m.
Like, it's like when you're playing with your siblings and you can sense like your mom being in a bad mood and your siblings about to go ask for something. You're like,
don't go in the living room.
Now it's not the time.
Read the room.
I would hate to be like a stormtrooper that has to ask Vader for anything. It's like, you go. It's like, I went last time. It's like, remember what happened to Frank? FN 210 last week. We ain't seen him in 3 weeks.
You know they're over here playing Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, who has to tell Vader that the rebels just escaped. You're in there like,
and he kill you just because you're disposable. What did they do? Damn.
But on that note, I have no transition, so we're just. I was like, how do I transition out of this? Like, There's no
Stormtroopers, Finn.
Empire insurance got to be trash.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. There's a transition. You're good. Okay, so speaking of stormtroopers, let's talk a little bit about Black representation in Star Wars. You know, growing up, I'm from the old school generation, kind of. You know, I had Lando.
Yeah,
that was it.
And that was it.
But now, you know, we've got Reva, but we have Finn. But what
Mace.
So we got a full hand, don't we?
Huh?
What about
We got a full hand now, don't we?
I forgot about
Mace.
Mace.
Yeah, we got Mace, Finn,
Jana.
Mace.
Jana,
Technically,
Reva, and
we have Ahsoka. Technically.
that's
Okay,
Okay,
so we got a half. We got 5
Day
and a half.
one.
5.5.
But let's start with a big, easy question, which is, how do you feel about the presence of Black characters within Star Wars, and what do you think it could do better?
They could have more Black characters.
More Black writers.
That too.
I mean,
I've been really trying to think of how to bring this up, but literally every Black character in Star Wars has been a traitor in some way, shape, or form. Like literally.
I forgot. Who's
Lando?
Mando?
Grief Karga.
Moff Gideon.
Like, literally. And Moff Gideon.
yeah.
Well, except Moff Gideon. I guess he would be the exception. But no, like literally every Black.
There's a character in one of the games too. I don't play the game, so I don't remember.
Oh, the Fallen Order.
Yeah, Deborah Wilson's character.
Yeah. Also, another traitor. It's weird, but no, seriously. Lando betrays Han. Finn betrays the First Order. Mace technically betrays the Republic. Jana's also a defective.
Also, technically, sort of betrays them in the second movie because he's gonna abandon them to find Rey. Like Rose has to be like, no, you have to fight
Betray everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, but like it's weird.
It's weird.
Like not how none of them are always just. None of them can just be on the right side. It has to be some weird thing, and I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Only mediums that have is like games and not even the games. I guess just the comics is probably the closest we have, and they're probably like comics. And I guess High Republic I think has some Black Jedi.
Yeah, it does. Emirate Captor, like one of the High Republic comic series I was reading. The main character is basically a Jedi detective, and he's Black, and he's a great guy, awesome character.
But see, those are characters that should be more mainstream. That's
absolutely,
right? Yeah,
because it's like a really good detective story, and like it's playing with certain aspects from the books. But dude, it even has a love interest. Like it could be a really good story, but it's just in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would say definitely just more Black Jedi. Like that seems often specific, but like I would say more Black Jedi because for one thing I didn't want to mention on here is the revisionist history that goes around every time there's a new Black character drives me insane. Because every time there's a new Black character and the actor faces racism, then everyone's like, no, we liked all these other Black characters that came before.
No, they didn't.
Doing it with Rebel,
all 6 of them.
No, we all liked Finn. We wanted Finn to be a Jedi. And I'm like,
no, they did not like Finn.
The amount of racist like think pieces that came out about like is Star Wars going too woke and like a Black stormtrooper doesn't make sense and like people were calling him the N-word and saying he needed to be removed from the movie. The only time like the masses, I'm not talking about Black people, like the masses got behind Finn was when they started getting called out for misogyny for their hatred towards Rey, and then they're like, wait, we wanted Finn to be a Jedi. That was not a thing until fairly recently. And I was like,
and they bullied old girl off Instagram too. The whole sequel cast has got hell after hell each movie.
It's like because I was saying I love Reva, but like the amount of hatred she got just for being like a villain, I could not imagine how they would react if she had been a Jedi. Like had she been a protagonist Jedi,
man.
And that's what I think we need more Black protagonist Jedi. Because they are really the face of the franchise. They're like like you were saying, like we need more positive representation.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because with the High Republic, and I believe the series that they're going to be doing, I think Rian Johnson's going to be doing a High Republic series movies. Yeah. Don't quote me on that, but they are going to be doing a High Republic trilogy.
Yeah. The new Acolyte is
Sure, but
they have a lot of people of color in the High Republic.
Yeah.
So Jedis.
Hopefully
So I'm
they,
like,
they stick
cool.
to that. That would be.
Yeah, because the acolyte is oh my goodness, what's her name? Amanda Stenberg is the acolyte.
I love her from the Hunger Games.
So I'm
Yeah.
going to jump in here real quick and ask Bennett, you've been pretty quiet recently.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What can we do better with Black folks in Star Wars?
I'm just saying, I have my opinions about the books and the Jedi. Maybe unpopular in the chat. I don't particularly like the Jedi. Not a fan. So I don't
Fair.
particularly need more. I don't think Finn needed to be a Jedi or anything like that. I think
agree.
the more powerful storyline would be a man who had been kidnapped from his home, away from his people, stripped up his name, and then basically enslaved, going back and freeing his brothers and sisters in arms would be a much more powerful story to be told to the avenue of a Black man. I didn't need Finn to be a Jedi. I think the splitting things between the Jedi and the Sith is, or whatever, it's just like, we can move beyond that, I feel like. I didn't get to say this earlier, but my favorite Star Wars movie is The Last Jedi. Let the Past Die, all about that. That includes the Jedi. I think that seeing Finn being a Force sensitive, maybe bringing in a new era of what that looks like, that's not defined by the Jedi, I think would have been a more interesting storyline.
I'd have to agree. I'd have to agree.
Yeah,
with, like,
I
like
think
that.
they mean more positive Force user probably is the better term. Like not necessarily part of the Jedi, but like someone who has the Force and is not evil. That's
Personally,
He has a
Yeah.
lightsaber. Give my
Like,
boy
I
his
definitely
own
like-
lightsaber.
I definitely like the idea of the gray Jedi, or like the idea of someone who's like, I'm a Force user, I want to use the Force for good, but I don't necessarily subscribe to like. So I definitely
I'm not
agree
a
with your point. with that.
I've made like a few videos about the Jedi and like how personally the way I think they should be, like Kanan aligns with that like immensely. But as far as Finn goes, he did not need to be a Jedi, although it did seem like he was totally going to be, just going off of the trailers, which is one thing. But like I threw out the idea of him being a Mandalorian some time ago, which could easily tie with like
that would make sense.
no, it would make a lot of sense, especially since this is the end of the Star Wars saga, and they're like the one group who has like zero presence in the sequel trilogy, like at all. Like we get like one flag at Maz Kanata's castle, and that's it. And like, I mean, think about it. Like, think about how interesting it would have been for Finn to we see him rebel by taking off the stormtrooper helmet, and then we can see him rebel again by putting on a Mandalorian helmet. And the stormtroopers are technically distantly related to Mandalorians, going from the clone troopers.
Oh yeah.
And I personally, it would have, like, if they went with that, they could have easily given him the Darksaber, and he could have had a round 2 with Kylo, which is one thing I really can't stand about the sequels. Typically everybody. Typically, everyone who loses a lightsaber duel gets the run back. Anakin got it with Dooku. Anakin got it again with Obi-Wan, like
Didn't get
a
it.
couple times now.
And they couldn't even let him have his fight with Phasma. That's what made me annoyed.
Yes.
Is they
to this day.
interrupted his fight with Phasma.
She just disappeared. Just like, what happened to Phasma? She with the Force now, dog.
I think that's the thing. Ultimately, it boils down to the Black characters that we do have in a whole friggin' galaxy. By the way, we have 5 characters, maybe 8 now. They're not written with any kind of depth. And I feel like Reva is one of the first ones that we have like a little extra depth and a little extra growth. Like Finn, there was so much potential there. And
there was.
And they
a whole Mandalore. They're not ready for that.
Real quick. And I think that was a lot of like trying to please the white fanboys.
It was. I remember seeing that movie with my dad, and when the movie ended in his little coma, and my dad looked at me, he said they did that because they want to see the fan reactions to them. If the reaction is bad, he's gonna stay in that coma, he's not gonna wake up. He said if the reaction is good, they're gonna make him a main character. And if it's okay, then they're gonna make him a side character. And he was right. He told me
right.
The movie ended. He said that's what they're doing, is they're trying to see what the white people think of Finn.
I remember when when after Force Awakens it came out, everyone was talking about Rey and Kylo. What's their deal? Nobody or barely anybody was talking about Finn. And at my job, I work around a lot of palm-colored people, and that's what they were always talking about. Oh, Rey's gonna be Palpatine's granddaughter, which was a popular theory at the time. She's gonna be Kenobi's granddaughter. She's gonna be this. Oh, Kylo's gonna train here. Like never about Finn.
Finn and Poe were my favorite. That was the annoying
Yeah,
thing.
It's great dynamic.
I was banking on the
chaotic Stargate couple.
Listen,
Yeah, I was
in
banking
my
on the
mind, they
first
still
poly
ended up
Ray
together.
Poe.
I don't know who the two random people were that came up in episode 9, but they didn't exist. It's Finn and Poe.
I will say though, I
don't ship Finn Poe, but I see it. I see it.
I ship Finn Poe Ray.
Wanted it to happen.
I don't know where Kylo came from. That was a throuple. That was a match made. It was Finn, his boyfriend Poe, and his girlfriend Ray.
Yes, and he had his jacket. He had his jacket.
It suits you. It's like, are we?
I will say though, because I do want to say, like, so I remember going to see The Force Awakens in theaters. And I will never forget that moment of watching Finn turn on that lightsaber and kind of like, I was sitting in theater and I kind of sat up and I was like, are we getting another Black Jedi?
I know.
Like, and I was so excited. I'm like, don't get me wrong. Like, Luke Skywalker is one of my favorite characters. I identify with Luke in many ways as an adoptee myself. But I was like, I only had Mace Windu. Are we getting like another Black Jedi? And then, you know, the series went on and I was like, no Black Jedi.
Have you seen?
They let us have one in the early 2000s. They're like, Samuel L. Jackson can be your Jedi. Can we have another? No.
Have you seen the concept art for Finn though?
You Negroes already got your thing. You're like,
the concept art for Finn where he has a lightsaber and he's on a freaking horse. It looks so cool.
That's what we should have had it at the end.
I was so upset.
That's what we deserved at Rise of Skywalker. Him on horseback with a lightsaber in one hand, going yeah.
That would have been so
like
cool
a true black cowboy.
But I would be happy with the Black Mandalorian. I'm like, where's the Black?
So I'm not ready for Black Mandalorian.
I'm now starting sitting here looking at Filoni like, you gonna have any Black
Like personally, like the thing I want the most, like the absolute most, I want Tar Vizsla to be Black, like legitimately speaking. And with the way Mandalorians work, that can easily be a thing. And when you look at the way, when you look at Pre Vizsla, how he's only picking parts of Mandalorian history to rally other like-minded individuals, he's lying about some things. Like when he fights, sure, things weren't as like they may not have planned for Mandalorian to turn out the way it did. But when he's looking at the story, when he's talking to Obi-Wan about the history of Mandalore, like how they fought the Jedi and then takes out the Darksaber, he kind of leaves out the fact that a Mandalorian Jedi made that thing.
Yeah.
So what else are you telling?
And going off the topic of just like blackness in Star Wars, to this day, I think the most interesting story that they've just never done is did anyone play Knights of the Old Republic? The old game?
No,
so there's the remake's coming out too, but there's a Black Jedi or former Jedi named Jolie Bindo. And
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, so his storyline is he had a romantic partner that became a Sith. And I think that is a fascinating storyline that we've just never touched at all. And because that was always my idea. I'm like, what happens if a Jedi and a Sith fall in love? What's that baby do? What's that storyline?
People always talk about enemies to lovers, but like lovers to enemies is such a tragic storyline.
Very
tragic. So interesting to see.
You know how many ducats I would throw for like Denzel Washington, Viola Davis, just fences in space with Force users?
Let's do it.
Like fences with the Force, like that, and just like, and you got the son caught up, just not knowing which path to go.
While we're on this, because we were talking about Mace, because like I will say, I was at Kiki. You might remember. I don't know how old everybody is, but like I know I'm probably on the younger end of the spectrum. But as far as I know, a lot of people people do seem to like Mace Windu. Like, I will say, people tend to go heavy on him for being, like, the reason Anakin turned when, like, the whole Jedi Council was fucking up. But my friends and I were talking about this the other day. Even though he's very much not, like, palpable black man, white people love Samuel L. Jackson. Like, he is, like, the token that we get in everything. Like, that's the one thing people won't complain about. But then, like, they'll use that against us. Because I think Samuel L. Jackson might be the only black Star Wars actor who has never, ever mentioned racism or ill treatment. And they will use Samuel to be like, see?
Yeah.
Because he'll cuss him out.
While Moses is like she's showing screenshots of people calling her N-word with a hard R, and they're like, but we were nice to Samuel L. Jackson.
Because I'm like, so when the Phantom Menace came out, that was 1998, correct?
Yeah.
98, 99?
97. So I was about 8 years old when that came out. Okay. And so in the way of like, what was the public or fandom discourse? I don't know. I was 8. I was concerned about like Britney Spears.
And there was no internet.
Right. And yet if I sit here and try to remember the conversations surrounding the Phantom Menace from my point of view at 8 years old, nobody ever said anything to Samuel L. Jackson. And I think it really does come down to that Samuel L. Jackson is an unthreatening black person to many white people. Or that they think they can connect with him, or they think that they like him, you know.
Odd, because he's very much not the kind that I think they would pick, if that makes sense.
Right. But I mean,
he's very much not a Ben Carson type, so I don't understand what about Samuel makes them like attached to him.
It's Samuel.
I guess he's like a cool black guy, like a cool, like kind of like.
But he doesn't have any love interests.
Yeah.
And none of his movies.
They like him to a point.
Well, and I would say,
except for that new Shaft.
When you think about the character of Mace Windu in the prequels, there we go, prequels. In the prequels, you know, think about how I don't know how any other way to say this, but how as a black man, how threatening is he to Anakin Skywalker or to any of the white characters?
Well, see, that's why everyone always says, "Oh, Mace was fucked up." Mace, he didn't like Anakin. Mace didn't have anything against Anakin. Mace was just
he was pro Anakin.
Keeping it real. That's all.
He's like, "Hey, man," like he didn't sugarcoat shit. That's what Mace didn't do.
Yeah.
Well, the villainization.
But he was right. The other Jedi on the council felt the same. He was just the one that wasn't scared enough to say it.
He just said it.
Exactly.
They were all mean to him.
It's like, look, nobody in this room likes you, so I'm gonna keep a stack with you, bro. It's like they don't rock with you. I don't care, but I got outvoted.
This is kind of like so like one of my close friends, you might know him, Chris, who's a Star Wars lawyer. One thing that we've talked about before is like people's attitude toward Lando. And like the villainization of Lando is like, oh, Lando was a bad, mean, evil person. And I'm like, no. If you break this down, he had an entire city of people he was responsible for. He got told, give me 4 people or we take over your city and destroy these people's lives. It was 4 people for a whole city.
And he hadn't seen Han in years. And
he
already had a complicated history of fucking each other up over anyway. So he was like, listen.
And so it's like they're all at, you know, like people are like, oh, but he was a massive traitor and stuff. I was like, he was a leader who was put in an impossible position where there was 2 bad scenarios and he chose the less bad scenario.
Billy D. Williams has gone to break this down.
Sorry, go ahead. Because you're going to talk about Billy. I want to hear it. No, I was going to say, when he realized that things started to deteriorate, he said, okay, I'm going to pivot. And he did. And he saved the day.
Yeah, he did. Totally.
Like, he was rarely a traitor, quote unquote.
Yes. Billy D. Williams has gone on record to like break down Lando and said, one, you don't really tell Darth Vader no.
Right. And live.
And live. Yeah. And he said that he saved Han because he kind of did. They could have just easily offed him or shot them as soon as they showed up or something, because Jabba basically wanted Han dead or alive, I think. But the whole carbonite thing saved his life for the time being. But yeah, no, it's the needs of the many versus the needs of the few, and this few happens to be the guy who technically stole my ship, and
people I don't know.
Yeah, and people I don't know versus all these other lives I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that they
Han's a kind
explained
of
that
grimy
in the
dude when
movie.
you really think about it too. Like he's shacking up with somebody that's like 10 years his junior. It's already off to a weird start. He stole the ship from his former homeboy. You know, just like scammed him out of it. Like the Solo movie, as much as I'm not a fan of it, kind of recontextualizes like, oh, you're just a dick.
Yeah, like they just have a history of stabbing each other in the back. But like what? And if you were, and I'm sorry that I'm not saying names. My screen had names, and then all the names disappeared.
Oh, hold on.
I'm sorry, but what you were saying
Boom.
early. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
I'm after.
What the Jedi always was saying earlier is like they keep. It's frustrating because we sympathize with these characters because it's like. No, like you guys, a black character shows like some negative, some like not super positive attributes all the time. You're like, oh, this character's evil, when like a white character could do the same thing and like not be judged the same way. But at the same time, it is interesting how whenever they need characters to play like these morally gray, make these decisions that like a lot of people are gonna hate and it's gonna require a lot of, they always give it to the black characters. Like it's like it is the black characters that really get those roles, and I'm fine with that because like those characters exist and they exist within black people. It just becomes suspicious when we have so few representation and they are all like getting the same one. And that's what I've said. Is like I've seen like I don't care if a black person is the villain because like honestly, as much as I loved Kenobi, I cannot help but peep. The black character was a villain for most of the series. Then we had the brown character who was like a scam artist who redeemed himself in the end, but he was a scam artist, and the little black kid was also a scam artist, and then the little black kid disappeared. Like he was like, watch Leia. He's like, I don't babysit. I'm like, what the fuck happened to the kid you had in the beginning? So
the only other cool was Ice Cube Jr. You're the only one who was chilling. He's just like, I got a family, bro. He's like, look, leave me out of the bullshit.
We get such very few representation, so it's extremely noticeable when you keep having these characters that keep being put in these same morally gray situations. And then like white people, they have most of the protagonists, and then they also have Han Solo. You know, like they're like they have one that's kind of shady, but they also got Luke, they also got Leia, they also got Rey, they also got Obi-Wan Kenobi. They, you know, like it's like they have so many other characters to rotate between.
I saw a video, and I wish for the life of me I could remember who did it. I really wish. And it might have been somebody on this panel, so call me out if I don't remember. But they were talking to their mother who had like gone to see was that you?
No, not me.
No.
Not me.
Sorry. But they were talking about how their mom like had watched the original trilogy in theaters or something. And their mother said George Lucas was a coward.
I know that video.
Yeah, and they were like it was on TikTok, and they were like, "What do you mean?" They're like, Darth Vader, when they removed the helmet, Darth Vader should have been black because James Earl Jones is black. Yeah. And they were talking about, they're like, no, that would have been too complicated for them to explain when they honestly didn't even have to explain anything. They could have just done it.
Yeah, no.
Like, and I was like,
I think I do know the video you're talking about.
I mean, y'all seen the Brandy Cinderella where the prince was Asian?
Right? They didn't care about any of the races. None of it made sense. And it was perfectly.
They were just like, you all can figure this shit out. Have
the black woman with a white man. They had a Filipino baby, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that tracks.
As a kid, I never questioned it. That was the best part. I was like, okay, fair. That
it was Dr. C.
Yeah. Oh, I love Dr. C.
Dr. C.
Somebody made a meme about it. I was like, wait a second.
I mean, the unhelmeting of Darth Vader, like they kind of screwed.
We forgot about.
They screwed David Prowse too. So, but I agree. Yeah, they should have just made him black.
Also, somebody in the chat asked about Saw Gerrera, and from what I remember, he's in the same kind of.
I forgot about Saw. Oh
yeah, Saw's a rebel too. Though, where it's like
Saw's a legit terrorist,
but then he does a bunch of like really fucked up shit.
Yeah. saw was an
Never turn
example of a character who has like, I need you to stop being so angry. Like, I get what's going on. I get why you're mad, but you're being
You're going too far. You need to chill out.
Yeah.
I would say
Little extreme, brother.
that was like the one part. That was like one of the moments in the Clone Wars that I got angry. Was when Saw Gerrera's sister was killed. Because I was like, well, there goes a black woman.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Like,
They switched her.
Solo did it too. Solo did it too. When she popped, I was like,
Oh
shit,
yeah,
we got a
who
cool
was it?
black
Sandy
woman.
Newton?
Died in like the first third of the
Oh,
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it was like Sandy Newton got shot. Within 20 minutes. Like,
no, she didn't. She got blown up.
Yeah.
that's worse. That's way awesome.
I remember. So this actually brings me back to another point because all these people were like, "Oh, what? That Rafa's gonna die," and like they were getting this woman to die, and I was like, "Hey, y'all getting a little bit too
like, chill. Yeah.
And it's like they're like, oh, it's because she's evil. It's like, well, you're not. What about the rest of the Inquisitors? You're not
No, kill them too.
You're not.
It was like, no, let them die too. We can let them go.
Bennett, what did you think?
I think the problem with Star Wars and their black characters is often that they don't know what to do with them. It gets to the point that they build like a really interesting potential. Like with Finn, I think it's a perfect example. There are so many ways they could have taken his character, Stormtrooper Rebellion, like you were saying, Mandalorian, Jedi. I was rooting for Finn Skywalker, still rooting for Finn Skywalker, but I obviously love Lost Causes. Yeah, I feel like they just don't know what to do with their black characters. Even Reva, like, okay, then where the hell was she for the rest of the saga? Like, if this is where she ended off at the end of the show.
So, like, Bennett, like, where do you hope, like, if you were to be able to write a story right now for Reva, what happens next? What would you say?
Okay, so, I feel like, what would I do with Reva?
What I would do?
I'm so interested, like, whatever Ezra is doing right now, I want Reva to be part of it. I don't know how, but stranger things have happened. It's Star Wars.
Whatever come back and get cut in half.
Whatever Vacation with the Whales they're doing, I want Reva to crash it, do something like that.
I fully agree with that.
That would be interesting.
Reva with the, like, on the oh god, what's the name of the ship in Rebels?
The
Ghost.
The Ghost. Yeah, I would love to see her on that ship.
Personally, for me, like it would be a weird connection, but I wouldn't mind if Reva was Finn's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that actually kind of, or grandma, something like that.
Yeah, grandma. I don't think Reva lives that long.
Well, maybe not, but like no, like Poe is Poe's around at the end of the rebellion. Like actually no. He's around during the middle of it. Like at the end of Empire, Poe Dameron is already like a baby. Okay. So it could work.
It could, yeah.
I like the idea of her linking up with Ezra. But another one I thought about was like, what if she shows up in the Ahsoka Tano show?
Yes,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, well, Ezra going to be in Ahsoka? I believe he's Ezra.
Yes.
All tied together. That was like kind of where it was leading. Maybe she'll.
Pretty wild if she was Ezra's mom.
Yeah, that would make me really happy. That's the thing. Like, I feel like Reva's been set up. I think O'Shea's character has also been set up because he. His last moment, he was like, there's
with Obi-Wan.
I want to see Ice Cube in space. I want his daddy to show up as somebody.
I want Snoop Dogg in Star Wars.
Senior to show up.
Snoop Dogg would definitely be. Snoop Dogg definitely looks like a High Republic Jedi to me.
He's a High Republic?
I think he's a huge Mandalorian fan because like one of his music videos.
He'd be the first black Mandalorian we see.
So to this comment right here,
he was Mandalorian.
I wouldn't mind that.
I'm sorry, but like Snoop gonna be out here selling some shit to Jedi. That's what Snoop gonna be doing.
He's selling death sticks.
Snoop Dogg is
you want those good death sticks?
Somebody said
I like
about
what Darth
Ventress
Man just
being.
wrote. Ventress being somebody who would be
Yeah.
POC. I do think Ventress is coded
I
that
can
way.
see that.
So is
Yeah.
Ahsoka.
It
Isn't
is,
her
but
voice-
at the same time, I'm a little tired of them giving us characters that are like coded POC,
Who are
played
coded?
by POC actors, and that's
Yeah.
supposed to count. Like, absolutely give the opportunity to more
Absolutely
like people of
doesn't
color to play like these characters. But like, also, I think they have a
Without
bad
the
habit,
makeup,
not
yeah.
Star Wars, but like in general. I
In
mean,
general,
well, they're
yeah.
coded this way, but we're not going to confirm it, and that's the closest you're going to
There was
get.
a
And then the
It's a
white
side
fans are going to
thing.
argue with you about it. I'm like, no, she's not black.
Oh yeah, like
does anyone watch? Does anyone here watch Bleach?
Yeah.
The anime.
I'm
Yoruichi?
gonna get back to it.
Yoruichi, yes.
Yeah.
So many people try to say Yoruichi is in everything but
No, she's black.
Like,
But
Yeah.
The
she's
cat is black. What they
She's
talking
like
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Like no, they go so far out of their way to
What's
say
that
she's not
one-
black, but
They
like
play
That
gospel
one
We've
music.
seen her-
character,
we've seen her with
My
a legit
Hero
afro.
Academia. I forget her name. The one in the
Mirko.
round
Mina.
suit, who
Oh.
literally is based off
Wait,
of
oh,
Meg the
Mirko.
Stallion. Her design is based off
Yes.
of Meg the Stallion.
As
Really?
God
The artist that
intended.
says this, he's made a bunch of fan art of it, and like the fans will get so mad if you bring that up.
Marco.
I
It's-
talk about
it's-
it all the time. I literally was talking about it last week, and I'm
It's a
like,
trope.
is it?
It's ambiguously black.
Yep.
Ambiguously black. You don't know if they're
Do
actually
any of
black
y'all
or
know
not.
who the Mighty Z is? The Mighty Z is a TikTok and Instagram creator who talks a lot about black female representation, and she's talked about that trope quite a bit.
okay.
And especially in anime, but she
Mhm.
makes a lot of content about it. She's a really great content creator. She's definitely brought stuff like that up before.
So
Nice.
we have about 7 minutes left. So what I'd like to do with the next 7 minutes is let's talk about a Star Wars project that's coming up that you're excited about. Of course, I will go first because that's how I like to do things. Y'all know that I'm way too excited about season 3 of The Mandalorian. Like when it comes out, y'all better mute me because I'm not going to act right in any capacity. I'm going to be on here talking about,
I want to
oh,
see
you
it.
know what I let him do? And then like that's gonna be what Bennett's like, it's time to unfollow this mess. All right. How does it come to my life finally again? Boop.
I
Quiet.
just gotta see my baby. I need to see Grogu. I need to make sure he's okay.
Big bro.
That
Where's my
child is
son?
spoiled. I want Grogu's life. Grogu gets whatever he wants. And I was like, that's the life that every little
Have
child
you
wants.
seen the
Grogu
meme about how no one
kinda-
ever wants to help Din, and then they see a little green baby, and now you've got bounty hunters, armies, everybody's ready to go to war for this baby.
I
Your whole
mean,
He
stepfather.
literally showed up to a group of people. He's like, I need help. And they're like, that sounds like a you problem, Din. My baby's gone. They're like, the little green baby?
Little green bit.
Oh, they didn't take the little green baby. Oh.
He's the best stepfather since Russell Wilson. He just like, oh no, absolutely.
That being said, I always feel like this doesn't answer your question, Kiki. I'm sorry, but I feel like Grogu kind of he's pushing that dark side. There've been a couple of like dark moments with that
He just be
character.
choking
Like,
people,
that's interesting.
getting
Yeah,
little
when
fingers.
choking people, like
As
Yeah,
long
that
as
when
Din
you're tossing
doesn't
around
die,
stormtroopers.
I
to
feel
choke the
like-
life out of somebody.
I feel like as long as Din doesn't die, we'll be fine.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm really excited for the Ahsoka Tano series, but I love Ahsoka. And
Yes.
I can't get enough of her. And I know Rosario Dawson's like problematic, but I'm excited to see like what she's going to bring to the character, and hopefully she gets her head out of her ass in other ways. But yeah,
Everybody- like one of my phrases that I use is that everybody is problematic if you dig hard enough.
you're not
I
wrong.
I got called problematic recently because I said no. We're not going to go into that. But I had a political opinion, and I'm apparently problematic now. If you, yeah, everybody's
Everybody said that
problematic.
problematic is such a vague word. Like problematic could be they support a political idea I don't believe, and they once like murdered a child and got away with it. Like when someone says
I'm going to give it
Stark.
110. I don't know what Rosario Dawson has done, so I can't.
Obi-Wan,
comment on that,
Anakin
but-
Skywalker. That's the political spectrum.
I've
Rosario's
looked into.
like kind of anti-trans. Like I don't have a whole lot of information about it, but there's
Oh,
like,
yeah. That
I
whole
actually-
situation is weird.
yeah,
I
I
so
want to
sorry.
get into that right now, though, with 7 minutes out of. I don't
7
know.
minutes left.
Yeah.
We don't have time to.
We
don't
have time for that.
Rosario Dawson. That'll be episode 2. We're gonna have to get some more trans
Yeah.
folks. We have to get some trans folks on here to talk about that. I am not the right person to hold that conversation in any capacity.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Okay.
I just agree
But,
with Vicky. Mandalorian season 3 is what I'm most excited for right now.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would probably say either Star Wars Visions Volume 2, because they've gotten some other
Right,
studios outside of Japan to animate some episodes. That and Tales of the Jedi, because I want to see Dooku in his prime animated, because that's like a key conversation point for me at times.
Yeah,
that's a good
Dooku's
one.
actually my favorite Sith.
Okay.
I could
Christopher
same.
Lee is-
We're gonna have to have another conversation because I'm excited to hear more information.
Next conversation is talking about the Sith Lords.
Yeah.
So many.
For me, I would say
Smash or
either
pass,
Ahsoka
Sith
or what is it? The other one, Acolytes. I want more information on that one because I want to explore the dark side and like the whole premises behind that. And we got enough of the Jedi's, and with the High Republic, we'll get more of that. But I want to know more about the dark side and like how, the Sith and how they organize everything on their end. Because so looking forward to those.
Mm.
I guess I'll go real quick. My favorite upcoming project is actually the KOTOR remake game. After I played it and beat it a couple years back, like me personally, my canon Darth Revan is a black woman, but Disney probably won't do that for the canon. But it's like if it's on par, is like if they update it with modern technology and everything, I'm really excited. But if we're talking visuals, and it also kind of lightly touches on a point that I was going to make earlier, but it's like if we're talking shows, I am excited for Vision, I'm excited for all the shows and everything, but Acolyte was the one I've always been most interested in, and especially now with the casting. And part of the reason, and going back to the topic about Revan and everything, there's a conversation to be had about women not being likable in media, and that's okay.
That is a conversation that
Support women's wrongs.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to like her, and she can still be an all right character.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it doesn't have to get racist just because you don't like her.
I can't.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I can't stand like all the Inquisitors with the exception of Reva because of her story. Because again, they were all too comfortable just being Inquisitors.
Yeah,
you don't aspire for greater things, brother.
Well, that is just like you're literally working for the side that took away your life. Like, I mean, what are you doing?
Hey,
not much, clearly.
Read the Darth Vader comic. You'll see why. Like, it's the way he treats them. My God, he has a choke chain on their asses.
Yeah, I'll never forget. There's a comic where Vader, 2 Inquisitors have the audacity to fall in love.
Oh, I own that.
Vader is like, oh no, you did it. There ain't gonna be no wedding bells all up in this space.
The transition
That's
of
not a safe space.
That's just
it's horrific. You're like,
that's
dude,
just
it
jealousy
doesn't work
on
out
his
with
part.
Padme. Doesn't mean you have to stop everybody else's happiness. Like, motherfucker, you need to sit down.
I'm imagining Vader being pictured like,
Vader's
oh, you
gonna
got
be
a
so
bunch of nerve to fall in love on this.
He got mad that they fell in love. He was angry at
He's
everybody.
just standing in the hallway like that should have been me.
Literally.
When will it be my turn?
yes.
He had his turn. He fucking blew it, and then he can't handle that anybody else is even a semblance of happy in this.
Exactly.
Anyway, Bennett.
When you
Bennett,
choke you,
what-
it's sexy,
what you
but when I
excited
choke
for?
you, everyone get pissed.
I was like, I didn't really answer because I was surprised you invited me to this thing because I feel like my relationship with Star Wars is very strained at the moment in time. Yeah, so like I said this publicly, like, hey, Kenobi, Star Wars, this is your last shot. If I don't like Kenobi, I'm tearing down all my posters and I'm gone.
How did you
so
like
they got
Kenobi
me for a
then?
little
The
while
people need to
longer.
know. The people need to know.
What you looking forward to, too?
Huh?
How did you
What
like
you looking
Kenobi
forward
then? The people need to know.
I really did like Kenobi. Kenobi made me, it felt like a love letter to the sequel trilogy, which I love, and I am endlessly disappointed by the sequel trilogy consistently. And just around, ever since the sequel trilogy came out, like we've gotten all this stuff beforehand, but nothing with those characters that so many people have loved. Like that was like Star Wars for like our generation, and it was kind of felt abandoned. So the Kenobi felt like a love letter to that in many ways. It made some things in the sequel trilogy make more sense. So I really did like Kenobi. So they have me for a little while longer. So I want to get excited about
They
anything
pulled you
else.
back in. Once you fucked around, they pulled you back in. You, Bennett, you were on the
Let's hope the fan
you were on the
doesn't
hook,
scare
and
you
you're
off.
like, I'm swimming out to sea. They're like, we got ourselves
Come back here.
Hayden Christensen popped up and was like,
Yeah, okay.
really?
Yeah.
You back?
Well, more like Elon came back and I was like,
It's
hey,
like, all right, I'll hear you out. What you got to say?
Like, I'm gonna keep it real. When Hayden Christensen showed up and he was like angry face and like the cape was billowing and the flashbacks, I was like,
why is this doing something for me?
Exactly.
I'm like, why are you so far away?
feelings, and I know what happens next to the younglings.
I never found
They
it
good.
attractive. I did not get the hype. I was like, y'all are just thirsty. He's just white. That is all. And that scene
He's
popped
just
up,
tall and white. That's what he got.
Literally, that scene popped up. I was like, wait a minute. Oh no.
I'm part of the problem.
It was like the scene where Darth Vader like crushed the ship, and I was like sitting there, I was like,
When
that
he
is
got the
awful.
ship, I was
Do
like,
it again, Daddy. Do it again.
I envy you guys. I've never had a moment like that with any
Taking
Star
my
Wars character.
I was like, back to
Well,
AO3 it is. Back
I mean,
to
that's how I felt.
I'm
I mean,
like,
that's how I
yo,
felt when
God
Reva
damn
popped
it,
up.
here we
It's
go
like, wait a
again.
minute, a strong black woman.
Hey.
She's on the wrong. She's complicated. I can save her.
size.
Donald, the math is massive.
be careful.
Do you know what the
They might
Jedi
think you're
is?
cheating on him.
Maybe he's me.
I know. I can have
Yeah, no.
everything. Shoot, like there can be a
No,
trick.
okay, no, hold on, Kiki. Bane or Vader? Who you picking?
Ooh.
Ooh, don't make her choose.
And on that
Yeah,
note,
no, I have to-
we're
I have
gonna
to put you
end
on the
it
spot.
tonight.
I'm gonna catch
On a
you.
cliffhanger?
I'm gonna catch you lacking.
Like, I'm not into cutting this shit down.
I would pick Bane because I feel like at least with Bane there's a level of rationality. Like Vader, you just drop a plate and it's game over.
Yeah,
for
and
you.
plus
Like,
Bane already has a dental dam.
Oh my god.
we all going to hell. We all going to hell. We all going to hell on this panel. We were doing so good up until the last 2 minutes.
We lasted a long time.
Black people can't take anything seriously. We
That
can't.
is-
You think Vader breathing heavy because of you is like, baby, I got asthma. Don't gas yourself up. I'm always.
More tissue on my lungs. That's what that is.
None of y'all.
Them
ask
speedy
why.
ass.
Some things might not have survived that fire.
I was gonna say that. I was
Sound
gonna
like
say
you
that.
McDonald.
I was really gonna bring that up because it might be a Darth Maul situation. Just saying.
No, but can you imagine?
I can make it
what's
work
his
with
face?
Darth Maul, though.
Grievous?
It's okay.
Grievous
yeah.
just choking and coughing in the background.
He losing a
It
whole
was a
lung.
mess.
The amount that like Grievous and like
Grievous got hose.
Yeah, huh?
yo,
Grievous
like
is in a-
because Grievous,
He
like,
says
okay,
another fine one to my collection. He got hose. Like,
let me just say this. Like I have stopped. This is unrelated to Star Wars, but I stopped making videos about Ultron because my comment sections got way too thirsty real quick. I would just make one joke about Ultron, and people were like, "I'd risk it all for Ultron." I'm like, he's a cyborg.
leave that robot alone.
I mean, I
Like
get it.
that,
down.
leave that Windows 98
But why-
program that's
Why
malfunctioning
you
alone.
build
Like,
him like
Internet
that?
Why are
bitch.
you
give
doing
him
like that?
chest
Why are you
to him
talking to me like
ratio
that?
If they
That's
didn't
crazy.
want us to, they made him look like that. That's not my fault.
Why is he cheeked up? He's a what is
Why is he double
was he
cheeked
designed
up
like that?
on a Thursday afternoon?
6.5
here
feet
defending
tall,
your
deep voice.
choices.
What you want me to do? Like,
this is why we can't have nice things as a community.
And this is why I put my bid in to have Meg Thee Stallion play Bast in Black Panther 2.
Yes.
If it's good enough for Amit to be a beautiful woman.
You
Roll up
have
with a crocodile
Anyways,
face and body yaddy is
I
like,
did
hold on a
promise
second.
y'all you'd be out of here at 6:15, but I lied to you. It's 6:21, so I'm gonna give you your evenings back. But thank you so much to Master Depaul for hosting us, and thank you to the whole panel. This was so much fun, so much good to have some melanin. But before we leave, let's just go around and tell everybody where you can get found. I'm Black PNW Lady on TikTok, Twitter, and hopefully gonna start a YouTube. We'll see how that goes. But I'm also on Instagram, so that's how you can find me. I'm gonna send it over to Bennett. Where can they find you?
You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube because I am also venturing into that great red fear. And you can find me at BinaBees _, so BINA Bees _. Yeah, come check it out. My popcorning it, Janice.
Cool. You can find me on TikTok under Janice Ace, so JANICE Ace 312, and I'm pretty sure it's the same thing on Instagram. Maybe you have to drop the CE, but I haven't decided to go into YouTube yet. That's later. Popcorning it to Legend of Zora.
Oh, okay. Legend of Zora, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. I too have a YouTube that I'm working on. There's like one video up, so I won't debut that just yet. But TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Legend of Zora. Will.
You can find me on Instagram and YouTube, both at Will the Greatest. My YouTube has plenty of content. Last year I did a retrospective on American Pie, and also you can check out my own podcast, the Ace Podcast, everywhere podcasts are at, so like Spotify, Apple Music. I have it on my channel too, so it's just like you can find all the episodes there. So check it out, rate it, share it, tell your friends. I'm a popcorn it over to the Jedi always.
You can find me on the hellscape that is TikTok under the Jedi always, as well as I'm not wrong. You guys know it.
No, you're not.
It's just Twitter with more videos.
Right? Yes.
The Tumblr hot takes.
Oh God.
You can find me on TikTok under the Jedi always, as well as Twitter and Instagram on the same name, Master Depaul. Floor is yours.
All right. Well, you guys know me. I'm Jedi Master Depaul. You can find me on TikTok under Jedi Master Depaul, and here at the Conspiracy Cantina bi-weekly, starting this back up. I was super honored, like I said, to be able to host this for Kiki and all you guys. Thank you so much for doing this and putting this together. Love the conversation, the discussion, and just love the energy. So thank you so much. Thank you for bringing your topics to this and your own, what I'm looking for,
Perspective.
flavor. Your own flavor to this. Your own seasoning.
Yeah, flavor fits.
Some seasoning.
Seasons,
Some
yes.
season to
Old
this.
Bays.
I'm garlic.
Seasonal.
BYO.
So
Little Lowry's,
yeah, so-
if you will.
Some Lowry's.
exactly. It's Lowry.
Lowry's,
Yeah.
no mic.
Ah,
But so this was something that had to be discussed. I mean, we had people on the other side try to discuss on TikTok, and they got ate up. So
Discuss.
we had the side that can actually talk about this. I mean, not saying that not anyone can talk about this, but we want to get both sides. And thank you for doing this. So with that, we're gonna do this again. So this is nice. I like this one. So if you actually need me to host this again, let me know. I'll be more than honored at the Cantina. And until the next one, guys, to the chat, thank you for all your support. Thank you for
Yes,
liking and following, and thank you for interaction and engagement. We love the discourse in there as well, and it's just amazing. So thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. So until the next one, guys.
Here we go.
May the force be with you.
with you.
May
There
the
you go.
force
And
be
yep,
with
look,
May the
you.
force
And this
be
is
with
the
you.
way.
And also with you.
May the fourth be with you.
yeah, force
Always.
be with you.
Oh,
And
Do I-
yep,
For life,
life.
for life.
Take care.
What do I do? I just
there you go.